Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Robert McDaniel. He is a defensive back out of Jackson State. Nice to meet you, buddy.
Oh yeah, nice to meet you too.
Hey, nice to meet you, man. Obviously, here we're looking at one of the top HBCU prospects this season. Plays a lot of different positions. Going to be one of the participants in this season's Legacy Bowl. Just coming off an HBCU national championship, and a lot of great things happening for you, buddy. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's get going.
Oh yeah, my name is Robert McDaniel. A proud father, a man of faith, a member of Afro Fraternity Incorporated, cum laude graduate with a bachelor's in psychology. I love listening to music. My favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar. I love animals. I have a dog. His name is Cash. And yeah, that's a little bit of something about me.
Okay, we might have to revisit a whole bunch of those things that you just said, but it's fine. I really want to get a kind of walk through your journey because you have a very unique one, and obviously getting yourself to the place that you are right now, which actually first starts in Jackson, Mississippi, with you, as a wee lad growing up. How long have you played this game of football?
Oh man, I started playing around 6 years old. My uncles brought me into the game, around my big brother. So just being with them, throwing the ball around, being in the backyard, just enjoying that little time with them. That definitely would, help me start my journey into loving the game.
Cool. So, who do the kids in Mississippi cheer for growing up, man? Like, were you a Saints fan? Like, talk to me a little bit. Like, I don't know what your fandom was like as a kid going into high school. Like, talk to me.
Oh, really? Honestly, most of my family they was really just Saints fans.
Fair
Saints
enough.
fans. We got some 49ers fans, but me and my grandma, I'm still a Patriots fan. So yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, certainly, it's easy to be a fan when, teams are winning. Obviously not so good right now, but it's fine. There's always this circle of, the way things work where they're obviously looking for new prospects, and maybe you'll be one of those guys there for the Patriots. Who knows? But, cool. So, been playing this game for a good long while, as you had mentioned, and want to get us to your high school days at Bastrop High School. Talk to me a little bit about your time there and maybe one of your fondest memories.
Oh man, especially coming from Mississippi, it was definitely a transition going from playing in Mississippi ball to Louisiana ball. The competition was definitely, definitely better in my opinion. But I just came there, with a chip on my shoulder, and eventually bonding with the teammates in the program that I was a part of, and actually going on a playoff run. Well, came up short going into the playoffs, but one of my best memories there was definitely had to be the rivalry games. Like the rivalry games were really just, amazing. Being part of them, making plays left and right, it just showed me that, I can compete anywhere I go.
Cool. So, let's talk a little bit about your recruiting coming out of high school. Obviously played mostly corner back in the day, I suppose. I mean, I don't know how that worked for you. And the way this went for you is you came out of high school, you started at Jackson State, you kind of bounced around a little bit, and then you came back. But how did you come to Jackson State the first go around?
So first go round, I actually did talk to Jack Sables around my junior year, going into the at the end of my junior year at the in spring practice, and Coach Hendricks at the time he was there at my practice. He was seeing me play and stuff, and at that moment he was like, "This is a kid that we can have in our program." He actually did offer me going into my senior year. So eventually they watched me through my senior season, and then I already knew where I was probably going to go from there.
Well, it definitely seemed like it was written in the stars, man. I mean, obviously, you ended up coming back there eventually. You ended up going there first go around. First go around was a little tough, if we're being honest. You're there for just a smidge, and then we're hit with a pandemic, and the world gets turned upside down. We're trying to figure out where in the world we're going to go. And life took you to Mississippi Gulf Coast. So talk to me about your pathway to the JUCOs and maneuvering yourself through it.
Really, I chose Mississippi Gokos. I just took a step there to, really just to go further my skills and develop my game a little bit more. Being around these top guys that's going to these Power Five and program, really just pushed me to be better and understanding. If I work just as hard, I can get to where they're trying to go.
Yeah, and the other thing I just kind of wanted to say is, a lot of people overlook like JUCO athletes all the time. But bro, that's obviously not true. We know a lot of these guys end up going on to the NFL and doing great things. There's a lot of great guys there, but the one thing about JUCO, man, is it isn't for the faint of heart. You've really got to put in your time. You got to go through the grind, man. Talk
Yeah.
about that grind just a little bit, because everybody's got a different story when they hit the JUCO ranks. Because I mean, there's a lots of guys that fall by the wayside and quit. Man, how'd you stick with it and you know deal with it?
Oh man, coming from a JUCO, it definitely is a grind. Early mornings, late nights. I remember we was actually doing 2 to 3 a day practices, workouts, meetings. It was definitely not for the faint of heart. But me just in my nature, I'm just a hard worker. I'm not, just gonna let a situation. I'm not just gonna let a situation, stop my efforts or, make me quit because that's not something I'm not. I'm not a quitter. Once I see a goal, I'm going to continue to work towards it, fight through it, regardless of the adversity, and just show that, you know, soldiers can get through anything, and that's what I definitely did.
Gotcha. Obviously, man, you've had this goal of getting through college, eventually getting to the point where you're at right now, where we're obviously looking at an NFL prospect. But we're not done yet with your journey. So let's walk through the layout a little bit. From a Mississippi Gulf Coast, you found yourself going to Alcorn.
Yes, sir.
And you're there for a year, and then obviously you finish back up at Jackson State. Real briefly, man, talk to me about your time at Alcorn.
Mm, Yeah, I just had a brief stop at Alcorn. I was just, grateful for the opportunity that they given me. Eventually I did have a great season where I did end up making 2023 HBCU All American, but you know, it was a great opportunity for me to be there, but it just wasn't the right fit for me.
It's fine. It doesn't always work out that way, but obviously, man, you came back to Jackson State. You came back to Jackson State to finish things out and finish things strong, which obviously you guys did. Talk about Jackson State real quick for the people that aren't as familiar with it, maybe perhaps never stepped on campus. Obviously, this place is very special to you, which is the reason why you came back. Why is it such a special place for you?
Honestly, just growing up in Jackson, that's the hometown team, and all the greats done came through there, such as Walter Payton, Robert Brazil, NFL Hall of Famers. This just goes to show you that talent does come from these historic schools, and regardless of where you come from, you can make it anywhere. I'm just trying to pave my way just as they did theirs.
Gotcha. And obviously, talked about how this year did some great things, ended on a great note, and all that. Do want to kind of talk about you as the prospect as we move forward, because bro, you've pretty much done everything there in that secondary, with all your stops that you've been at. Talk about your overall experience in the secondary and maybe where you feel most comfortable.
Overall experience, like playing different positions from safety, nickel, or corner, is just open your eyes to understand the game even more from a defensive standpoint. Being able to do that, that just helped me be able to grow as a player and to play fast on the field. And I think most definitely where I'm comfortable with is definitely in the nickel position, being able to be effective in the run game and pass game as well.
But well, the other thing about you, Robert, is you're a pretty big dude. You could probably do a whole lot of things. I mean, currently standing at about 6'2", 214. So Ain't a skinny guy no more, man. Yeah, obviously, dude, you almost big enough to play linebacker. What are you trying to do, man? As we're looking at you as a prospect, man, you trying to play linebacker? You trying to stay in the secondary? Talk to me.
Oh, most definitely just stay in the secondary because I feel as though because of my versatility, I can show that no matter where you put me at, I can make plays. I can be effective in these schemes and being able to just be versatile and a Swiss Army knife. That just brings value. Show the value that I can bring to a team.
Gotcha. I teased you there for a little bit, so forgive me. You came into college actually a skinny dude, and you came in, they had listed you at 175, something like that. Obviously, went through a whole lot of growth and maturity during your time, man. Talk about that change for you, man, in becoming the person and player that you are, man. Like, obviously, it doesn't happen overnight.
Oh yeah, really just coming out of high school, it was definitely a lot of growing up to do because at that point it was straight discipline, being on time, being accountable for myself, and really just every stop that I just been at throughout my career played a role in my development. I'm just grateful for the experience and the relationships I built along the way to help me become the better player and person that I am right now.
uh, Talk a little bit about the people that have really uh, maybe perhaps poured into you a little bit, been the most influential for you. Bro, you've been at a few different stops. So, I mean, who have been those people for you, like along your journey?
Mhm. Most definitely will be Coach Hendricks. That was on the current head coach at Jack State when I first signed. Him believing in me from the start just goes to show me that some people see your value. Then even just going to go coach, really it was just a teammates. My teammates that I had, even throughout all my years, the bond and the camaraderie around them just helped me, show that the love that they have for me, the passion that we all have for one another and the game. Then ending back at Jack State, Coach Quinn, he was definitely an inspiration to me. Believing in me from the start, always telling me you're an NFL prospect, you're an NFL guy, and you're going to get to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, and you guys put it all together this year, man. Excellent job. Went 12-2, winning
Oh,
it all there at the very end. Got a lot of great teammates there at Jackson State, man. Want to give you an opportunity to give some love to your homeboys, man. Talk to me about some of them guys, man. That you're the Warriors alongside of you, day in and day out.
Oh man, I just want to first start off with Jacoby Morgan. As soon as he seen that I was in the transfer portal, he was one of the first people to hit me up saying, "What's the move, bro?" Especially coming from Mississippi, he stayed in Canton, so that was definitely seeing the love from him, knowing that we can do this, we can bring a championship back. That just helped me grind even more, for him, for the team, for the university. Then alongside of Irv Mulligan having one of the best running backs if the best running back in the SWAC, competing against these guys, pushed me to be better, and just the overall grind of it all was just it was definitely a bittersweet moment.
Cool. Let's walk through this past year, man. A lot of great moments, a lot of great games. There's a few of them that stand out for me. You had a game against what was it, Alabama State, where you had a ton of tackles, man. You seemed like you were all on it like throughout the whole game, man. You got a moment in that game, maybe one of them tackles that you could talk me through.
Most definitely, it had to be, starting off that first drive. Like after that first play, they got a couple big yards. Like, okay, we think we can continue to do this on this team. They not stopping. And then at that moment, I just knew I got to be a factor in this game. I gotta put myself out there. And, making a TFL on the second play of the game, that just goes to show me, oh yeah, I'm in. They're in for a good one because it
I
definitely
mean,
ended up being a good one.
you guys obviously, it was a bit of a grind when we were looking at that game, very low scoring, but you were very instrumental in shutting down that team and allowing your team the opportunity to put some points on the board. Definitely, securing that win for your team early on in the season. Uh, Got to talk about the SWAC championship. It was a bit one sided. But bro, you got yours, man. You got a couple of INTs in that game. Talk me through your favorite, favorite pick of the season. It had to be in that game, man. Talk to me.
Oh yeah, most definitely it was against Southern University, and just going into that game and that week, I was just really dialed in on the game plan, on what they was gonna do, what they were gonna run, who was gonna be their favorite targets, and it was definitely a close game. Then, especially just going into the third quarter when I knew, giving the look, I just so happened to be in the right position and catch the one hand pick. So that was most definitely my favorite play of the game.
And then, of course, you guys ended up at the Celebration Bowl. You're playing against South Carolina State. You come out with the victory. Favorite moment from that game, man? I had to be maybe like the very end where you're hoisting the trophy. Talk to me about that game overall.
Really, that game overall, it was just really just breathtaking to be in that atmosphere. This is somewhere I'm trying to get to playing in these type of things, and just going into that game in that week, it was just man, it was just amazing. And in that moment where I knew that we secured it, that's when all the emotions, all the hard work, all the hours and the time that it was put in on and off the field just to get to that moment, it was it was something I would definitely remember forever, especially being able to make history as winning the first national championship at Jackson State University.
Um, Robert closed the door on a guy, obviously finishing out his college season. And we're now looking at you as an NFL prospect. Bro, has it sunk in yet that you're an NFL prospect, that you could potentially put yourself in a position where you might be drafted?
It's definitely really just hit me. This is just a moment where I always just pray for, thank God for, and now that it's actually here, it's just man, it's just amazing. Especially learning all these different things, meeting different people, giving all the opportunities and blessings. It's just man, it's just crazy just to think about. I'm actually in this position, and it's the people ahead of me. Never thought it would get to this time, but lo and behold, here I am.
Yes, and obviously, the next stop for you is going to be at the HBCU Legacy Bowl. You're going to be one of the top HBCU prospects there. Um, Talk to me about what that moment's going to mean to you when it comes around.
Really, what that moment just means for me is showing the history and just showing that you can come from anywhere, giving the opportunities and blessing, and just showing that it's a big event. All these sponsors and people that support HBCUs and being able to showcase my skills and my work efforts on a big stage like that is definitely a great opportunity and a blessing to be able to do so. And I'm just happy that I am one of the top prospects to be able to participate in. So it's definitely I'm still taking that in.
I hear you. It's coming up here very soon. That game is going to be nationally televised February 22nd. And so I don't know if you got your bags packed and you're ready, man, but it's going to be here before you know it.
Yes, sir, it definitely is. But hey, I'm ready. This is what I worked for, and I'm continuing.
Gotcha. Well, want to take a moment now to meet the guy under the helmet. See if there's anything about this Robert McDaniel guy who, that we really need to get to know. So, you said a whole bunch of stuff at the very beginning. If you could maybe repeat some of it, and then we'll talk through some of it. Some fun facts or interesting things about you that you're into. So, give me some.
Oh, yeah. Start off, I am a member of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Cross Spring 23 at Alcorn State University. '06 to the good brothers out there. Um, I'm an animal alert. I'm an animal lover. I have a dog. His name is Cash. A little red nosed pit bull. He's right now back, still back at home in Jackson, and I can't wait to get back to him because I know he's missing me. And interesting fact, I do love to fish. I love being outside in general. Like I love fishing. No matter where you want to go, hey, as long as I got a rod and a reel with the tackle box, hey, I'm ready to go.
Gotcha. Mentioned you had a dog lover. Bro, I feel like people give pit bulls bad name, man. They're really, you know, lovable animal. Definitely, got to give a shout out to you and your dog. Love that about you. Mention again, like being outdoors, maybe some fishing. So, you have any like crazy fish stories or no?
I would most definitely say a crazy fish story it came with me and my little brother. We was just fishing in Louisiana, and there you just need a license, and you can basically just fish anywhere if there's water. And we was definitely finished fishing. It was like under a bridge, and like I didn't expect it to be that crazy. But I threw my rod out there. I'm waiting. I like the tight line fish for anybody that knows what tight line fishing is. And then it just snatched my pole in the water. So I was not expecting that. I lost a whole $60 reel. Off one, not even looking at the pole.
That hey, you got to be ready, man. Like you can't take naps like when you're fishing, even though I know some people like that about fishing. Um, you a big crawfish boil kind of guy? Like talk to me a little bit about some home cooking.
Home cooking, most definitely. I'm basically a human garbage disposal. I can eat anything, especially grandma gonna cook for her kids, her grandbaby. So she was always throwing it down in the kitchen. So I was eating everything from baked chicken, fried chicken, cornbread, greens. I love my veggies. Any type of veggie, or us fishing. We always scaling the fish, gutting them, and just throwing them right in the fryer or on the grill.
So you fancy yourself a little bit of a chef or no?
No, I'm not a chef myself, but I can get in the kitchen to do a little something here and
All
there.
right. Well, man, but I mean, it sounds like you come from a family that knows what they're doing. When you're talking about some of those things, I mean, it's kind of nice, being around family. Bit of a family guy too.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, definitely.
did you say that you're a dad? Did I catch that or no?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me a little bit about being a dad, and I don't know if you find yourself watching these cartoons these days.
Most definitely. Growing up, I'm always be a cartoon guy, but being a dad is really just just help me grow and mature, knowing that I got little ones looking up to me, depending on me, and that just just gives me another reason and motivation just go harder for them to be able to get on the stuff. I might not have had growing up.
So, favorite cartoon growing up?
Favorite cartoon growing up most definitely had to be SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. So, I guess you still watching that with your kid?
Nah, not really. This new SpongeBob, it's just crazy. It's more so tailored towards this generation of
No,
kids.
I got you. I want to see if there's maybe a couple more silly questions before we wrap things up. Uh, I don't know. You have like a favorite movie or TV show that you would recommend?
Favorite movie, most definitely. If anybody hasn't, you should definitely watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe and any type of MCU movie. Mine's is definitely right now had to be Avengers Endgame. So that's definitely what I
All
would recommend.
right. Favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero, most definitely would have to be Doctor Strange.
Interesting. I don't get that one too often. But why Doctor Strange?
Just in especially where you come from, you
Because you got
know,
the time stone. You want the time stone? Is that what you talked to me about?
maybe I do want to, rewind time just a little bit.
No, it's all good. Just kind of a fun little, a tidbit there. Uh, Bro, we've talked about a whole lot of things. So, I mean, I just feel like we just kind of need to go ahead and wrap things up. This has been fun, just hanging out with you and chit chatting about you and your story. Very interesting story about a guy comes in, scrawny corner, really coming into his own, being a very physical defensive back right now, a guy that could lay the wood on somebody, a guy who I feel, you know, dude, you have a good nose for the ball. You're always in the mix. You're always in the play. Um, as we wrap things up, man, talk to all them scouts out there and tell them what makes you a top competitor and why you need to be drafted. So, end with your final thought.
Mm. To all the scouts out there, if you so happen to have the interest and opportunity to pick me up, you're gonna get somebody that's a baller, a knack for the game, that's always willing to learn, being able to ask questions, adjust, adapt, regardless of what's going on with the situation. And you're gonna always get a person that's gonna put himself at the top, no matter what he has to do to get there.
Awesome. Definitely looking at one of the top HBCU prospects this year. Once again, going to be a part of the HBCU Legacy Bowl. Definitely check this guy out. He's a great prospect. You take care. All right, Rob?
All right, you too. Thank you.
Sure, man. Once again, Robert McDaniel, defensive back, Jackson State. Check him out.